Okay, here we go. The top news in the United States today is Putin and Trump and Trump. And U.S. House election gains Republicans close in on unified power. That would be the presidency, the Senate, the House, the Supreme Court. So, yeah. And another Trump story down below that. So, I really don't much feel like going into these stories. It's just going to be this is how the news is going to be for the next 4 years. Trump, 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 Trumpy Trump, Trumpity Trump, and it's going to get really tiring. So I don't even know how deep to go into this crap because I just feel like anything that's said in this article about Trump and Putin speaking as Biden plans to lobby Trump to stick with Ukraine. Is that really going to happen? Because I got the feeling that Trump was just going to hand over Ukraine by not supporting Ukraine to Putin. So, you could tell me in the comments whether you think my not reading the article is a presumption. Maybe I should go see what the article really says, huh? It doesn't matter. We'll see what happens with Putin and Trump. Mark my words. Bet you it won't be good. Now let's think about this picture right here with Trump holding his fist up. Every time, or maybe it's that way, every time Trump holds his fist up, I get the feeling that I'm looking at a mafia boss. Maybe even a Nazi boss. And it just makes me sick. So Trump is asking anybody who's going to be the head of the Senate to essentially be loyal to him. I'd rather that the government was loyal to the American people. And I would rather that Trump works for the American people. Even if it's that 50% of you guys out there who voted for things that I don't like. He can at least have some language that, I'm working for the American people, and the American people say they want me to do this. Not, you people need to behave this way because I'm Donald Trump. I'm just, I'm sick of the MAGA hats. I'm sick of the authoritarian crap. America first. We live on a little speck in the middle of nowhere. It's called Earth. Maybe y'all heard about it. We can't, except for the handful of us that can somehow or another be able to visit Earth orbit and shortly the moon, maybe Mars. I don't know. Most of us are never going to get to leave Earth. Wouldn't y'all rather just get along? I mean, people have been saying this since I was born, and before that, and before that, and before that, and before that, and before that. And I've recently heard about, I've just heard people say, well, and I'm talking about Republicans saying this, can't we meet in the middle somewhere? Well, how can you meet in the middle when you're You're against women's rights. You're against trans rights. Other things will come out. Gay marriage is established right now. If you're on the right, you probably would rather that gay people weren't married. Maybe you'd like to nullify all those marriages. Well, I don't want to go back. Getting along would be respecting the will of people to do as they feel unless they're violating the rights of other people. Somebody getting an abortion is not a violation of your rights. Somebody marrying somebody of the same sex is not a violation of your rights. I'm sick of people coming and saying, well, y'all need to behave like us. That's just sickening to me. I've always heard my entire life, well, he's a good Christian, or she's a good Christian. Or being a Christian does not make you good. We got lots of people who do bad things as Christians. The whole Crusades were an example of that. As they went plowing through country after country after country. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? Nope. Slash. Do you believe in our God? Nope. Slash. Believe like we say or you die. We'll just plant a ruler here to impress upon you our desires. None of that's good, y'all. You're not doing God's work. You're just killing people. I'm sick of it. It would be nice if Trump would just change his mind and start thinking about human rights. When Putin takes over all of Ukraine, I'm sure that's what he wants to do. Or, look, we've taken this much amount of Ukraine. If you'll just give us this, then we'll have peace. Well, it's not yours, Mr. Putin. They had a separate nation for 30 years. You decided you were just going to go in there and take it. I don't see any point in any other kind of government other than democracy. Trump is making democracy less like democracy, it seems to me. And Putin is not interested in democracy. He's a dictator and he's planning to stay there. And I think Trump has his way, he'll be a dictator as well. He already said he'd be a dictator on day one. It's not good, y'all. If you set abortion aside and just forget that doesn't exist, if you set gay people aside and forget they don't exist, if you set trans people aside and say they don't exist, you still have a Trump problem. You have a problem with Trump thinking that he's trying to convince you that he cares about you when he only cares about himself. America first. Well, it's just not going to work. You can't separate America from the rest of the world. We've got a global society now. Everything you do on this side of the world affects what happens on the other side of the world. There's a global network. I could talk to somebody in Australia, UK, France, India. Can't talk to somebody in North Korea. I don't know whether I'm talking to somebody in Russia. I have a feeling that the authorities in Russia would rather that nobody in Russia talk to anybody in the outside world. They've got their own little network, probably. You know, China does. There's lots of ways to get in and out of different networks with VPNs and all that junk. But just people would just respect human rights and have compassion. Why doesn't Trump or Putin just have compassion for people? But does it always have to be about power? I don't understand power. You don't see people suffering with your own eyes and feel inside your mind what that must feel like, and it doesn't make you sad. Does Putin not get sad when he knows that there are people he's sending into battle who are dying for no good reason but for him to have more power? Certainly not increasing his economical status. Putin's economical status would be so much better if he just participated in the rest of the world economy. You know, trading and being nice to people. I don't even want to talk about Netanyahu. I feel for the Israeli people. I feel for the Palestinian people. I don't understand why Netanyahu does not see people dying and have compassion and feel sorry for those people who are dying. Instead, he plans to level Gaza. And Trump wants them to be able to finish the job. Now, I've said all this before if you've listened to some of my previous videos, but I'm going to probably end up having to say it over and over. Every time I see these pictures in the news articles, I can't stop thinking about it. We just need to have compassion for other humans. If somebody could convince Putin, Trump, and Netanyahu to have compassion for other humans, we could fix these problems. Same goes for President Xi Jinping down in China. I've always wondered my whole life why the American space program can't cooperate with China. Why could China not participate in the International Space Station? Well, I know why. Our excuse is something about human rights and the way people are treated in China. What about the way we're treating people over here? What about the way they're treating people in Russia? But somehow or another, we have a space program with Russia. I hope all the people who are up there in the International Space Station are compassionate for each other. I've said out of anger several times, I wish we should just close the hatch and detach. I know that's not right. I don't want that to happen. What I'd like to happen is for people to just have compassion. I think we could advance so much more if we and Russia and China and all those people could cooperate in space. There's 2 space stations up there right now. We could have more space stations. We could have more friendly space interactions. I remember watching, of course I couldn't actually see anything, but it was You know, they told us what was happening over the TV when the U.S. and the Russians docked together in space. I thought, wow, that's an amazing thing. But after all this time, we're not friendly with Russia. We can't be. You can be friendly with a Putin-led invasion of Ukraine. If you could just properly negotiate, you guys could, you guys could trade resources. I'm sure that Putin would like to have all the resources in Ukraine. But that's not the way it works. You have to negotiate with people for trading their resources. It's not that hard if you have compassion. That's what I guess I want to name this whole video compassion. Because I wish y'all had some. You're sitting here making me satisfied by not having any. All those people who voted for Trump, you didn't have any compassion for the folks that are going to be hurt by the Trump administration. Because y'all don't have any compassion for trans people, for gay people, for queer people. Y'all think there's something wrong with us. We're just people. Just like you. We're just trying to fry our chicken and sit down and have a nice dinner with our family. So y'all tell your Congress people to have respect and compassion for human rights. Now that there's going to be an entirely Republican government, you can still have compassion. You don't have to remain opposed to human rights. And just ask yourself one question. If you're never going to believe in rights for trans people and gay people, what about women? Half the population of the planet is women. Women have the same kind of brain matter as men. They have the capabilities. They have feelings, dreams, hopes, just like men. But there's one thing they don't have: the respect to do with their bodies as they choose. So ask yourself the question, why can women not have equal rights? And that's the last thing I've got to say today about having some compassion. Love you, bye.